I'm Lauren Coleman here with Chad Silvers, Stacey Spivey, and we have Monique Robinson.
Yeah, thank you everyone for watching the 4 to 5 right here on WFMY News 2, Fire Stick, Roku, and the News 2 app for your TV, phone, or tablet. We are also on Facebook, so go ahead and log on and join in on our chat.
Lots to talk about, especially a huge day in the Triad yesterday with the announcement of Toyota's takeover of the Greensboro-Randolph Megasite.
Toyota will invest $1.29 billion for its first automobile battery manufacturing plant on the 1,800 acres of land sitting on the county border, creating at least 1,750 jobs.
This project is more than 10 years in the making, and many hands and minds went into preparing the site.
But does Toyota really need that much space? WFMY News 2's Jenna Kruzina got a walkthrough of the site today. And Jenna, how long did that take you?
Well, Stacey and Lauren, I was out here for about 2 hours just touring the property. I got to drive around with Randolph County Chairman of the Board of Commissioners, Daryl Fry. He took me around the property, and you know, 1,800 plus acres is a lot to take in. Right now, it just looks like large fields and some farmland, but there's some big plans in store for this property. There's a view stand towards the center that gives kind of a panoramic view of the land. And it was a lot to take in. The chairman says with so much land, the possibilities here are endless. The site sits right near the Randolph County border. It stretches from Old 421 Road and down past Dodson Lake. There's a lot of work ahead of Toyota with clearing the land and starting construction, but Chairman Fry says he's excited to see what's ahead.
I don't know how to envision 2025 with the size of the buildings and the number of those buildings, how they'll be used. And then if we go to phase 3, that's even more use of the property. I just think that the 1,900 acres gives Toyota, I think, lots of room to do whatever their future plans are.
Toyota plans to start their hiring process no later than 2024, and they have plans for an aggressive construction schedule. Now, Chairman Fry says there's about 2 years for everything to get cleared out of here to get that process underway.
Jenna, thank you. So what about the Triad attracting Toyota? Well, it all boils down to incentives. Toyota plans to have 4 production lines and hopes to expand that to 6. The company also needs a location with renewable energy availability and high government support. North Carolina and the Triad went above and beyond those expectations by having a well-maintained highway system, 4 international airports and 2 seaports, an on-site railway system with the Norfolk Southern Railroad neighboring the location, renewable energy availability, help from local education systems, and strong government partnership at both the state and local levels helped draw in Toyota.
Another question with the Megasite: will there be enough people to cover these jobs? We've heard from businesses for months about their struggle to hire. So where will the Triad find more than 1,700 people to operate this plant? NC Works' Chris Rivera says most of the employees will be homegrown.
It's not uncommon when you have a large employer relocating to a community to bring some level of personnel, but I believe that the intent and commitment of those types of reloads or building out new locations would be to hire local. And so whereas we would anticipate that they'll bring some individuals in, I would be very comfortable in saying that the lion's share of those positions will be local workers going to these opportunities.
Rivera says the good news is we will have time to build up our workforce during construction of the site. This gives local colleges and workforce agencies time to prepare employees for the available positions.
A 1-year-old girl is safe after she was taken by her own mother in Randolph County. Ava Pierce went missing on December 1st when her mother Roxanne Parson abducted her during a visit. There were concerns over her whereabouts because Ava has a medical condition requiring medication and did not have it with her when she went missing. Parson does not have parental rights to Ava, and Ava's father reported her missing last night. Deputies said they received a tip about a possible location. They were able to pull over the car and found Parson and her daughter in a car seat. Ava was returned to her father. Parson was arrested and served with a warrant.
When you get an Amber Alert on your phone, it's loud and urgent. It signals to the public a child is missing. The North Carolina Center for Missing Persons serves as the clearinghouse for information regarding missing children and adults, and is charged with issuing Amber Alerts. Each year, more than 10,000 people are reported missing to the center. Director Nona Best says not all missing person cases meet the criteria for an Amber Alert.
It has to be 17 and below. They cannot be a runaway or voluntarily missing, believed to have been abducted. If they are with a parent, we have to justify whether or not they are in imminent danger of injury or death, and it has to have been reported to a law enforcement agency.
Some Amber Alerts are issued quicker than others, sometimes even days after a child is reported missing to law enforcement. Beth says that can happen when circumstances surrounding the case change.
With a juvenile, we have issued later when we believe she was a runaway, and then 4 or 5 days later she calls and says, you know, I'm with someone, they won't let me come home, they're holding me against my will, I can't, they got me locked in a room, or you know, something like that. Then that changes the circumstances.
Beth says there is no waiting period to report someone missing, and she encourages the public to contact law enforcement immediately if there is belief someone is in danger.
Now let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup. New York City has possibly imposed the toughest COVID orders thus far in the U.S. The Big Apple is the first city to mandate all employees of private businesses to be vaccinated before the new year. Private businesses will be forced to mandate vaccines with a deadline to have at least one dose by December 27th. Vaccinations are already required for hospital and nursing home staff and city employees like teachers, police officers, and firefighters. A mandate is also in place for private and religious schools. The number of North Carolinians in the hospital with coronavirus is slowly rising. The state says the latest number is 1,376. It's 57 more than yesterday and the 11th consecutive day this number has gone up. For a good 3 weeks, this number stayed pretty steady, around 1,000 patients. It came on the back of a nice decline where the state shaved over more than 1,100 patients in just about a month. Today's number is now the highest number we've seen since October 27th, nearly a month and a half ago. Union County leaders want to end contract tracing and COVID quarantine protocols for public school students statewide. Union County Board of Commissioners voted on a joint resolution demanding state leaders do what's needed to end those protocols by January 19th. Another part of the resolution says the county and Board of Education want to end quarantine rules for asymptomatic students and staff to limit the number of missed days. Board of Education members are expected to vote on the resolution at their meeting tonight at 7.
Warm yesterday, cold today. I mean, North Carolina loves to give you a bunch of different weather conditions in a very short period of time. Taking a look over the last 20 hours, this is where we started out today. 30s, in the 30s, the bone-chilling cold air. But yesterday evening, we were just in the 60s. We're not seeing that today, as temperatures as of now are right around those 40s. You can see across the Triad, 47 is where we're sitting at currently in Greensboro, 50 degrees in Winston-Salem, 48 in Burlington. Everyone kind of in these upper 40s, low 50s, but take notice how much of a difference this is compared to yesterday. A 19-degree drop in temperatures in Greensboro, 21-degree difference in Burlington. Everyone feeling this chilling air. That cold front that moved through helped to really change weather conditions. Things are dry on our radar, satellite radar looking dry now, but when I widen this view a bit, I'm keeping a close eye as to what's brewing down in the south and east over Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi. This here is going to be an area of low pressure. It's going to ride along what's a stationary front. You can't see all of this on the map, but as this develops, we could potentially see some rain tomorrow. Now, not everyone across the Triad, and it's not looking like a significant amount of rainfall, but hey, we'll take it. We haven't seen much rainfall in quite a while. More details on it coming up.
It was nominated for 9 Tonys and won 6, including Best Score and Best Musical. Dear Evan Hansen opens tonight at the Tanger Center. The show is about a teenager fighting social anxiety and the path that leads him to a grieving family that lost a son to suicide. Eric Chilton spoke with 2 of the stars to find out how it relates to our world today.
I think it talks about being isolated. I think we've all dealt with isolation and being apart from each other. And in this day of social media, there's a lot of advantages to it, but there's also a lot of disadvantages to it. And with issues of bullying, and it's a tough time for young people to grow up. I think in this age, and so yeah, we've definitely, looked at us. We're be able to speak together, via Zoom, and that's a wonderful thing. And we also have to look at the challenges that social media poses.
Jessica Sherman plays Evan's mom. She says the play runs the gamut of emotions.
You'll feel all the feels, all the feels. And I would say the drama is so real. You're not coming to see a pop version of Medea. You're seeing a show about real people and our lives and the struggles that we all have connecting to each other and trying our best to get through our lives whilst being there for other people. And so of course that has moments of serious joy and a lot of love and some honestly laugh out loud moments, and then some real heart and some real moving moments.
Related to this, Eric asked his Facebook followers today, if you could choose any Broadway show at the Tanger Center, which one would it be and why? Jill said Hamilton. My granddaughter can recite the entire play at 9 years old and sing it also. I'd love to take her just to see her joy throughout the play. Wendy said Phantom of the Opera, best music ever. Ange wrote The Lion King, huge fan and so ready for it to come in March. Birthday outing in the making. Carmen said a non-musical. Do they even have plays anymore that aren't musicals? Candace wrote The Jersey Boys, best music ever and loved the play. And Pam said anything goes. Between the Cole Porter score and the tap dancing throughout, it would be fabulous. A lot of variation there.
Yeah.
And you're going to go see Dear Evan Hansen,
I'm
right?
going on Thursday, and this will be my very first Broadway show that I have ever been to.
That's
so
exciting.
I'm looking forward to it. I really don't know what to expect.
It's just like no other experience. Like think movie theater, but way, way better because it's all live. I love going to the theater. I love going to musicals. One that I haven't seen that I've always wanted to see is Book of Mormon. I've heard that one is so funny and so great. So hopefully maybe in the future it will come here.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see Hamilton. I've seen it on Disney Plus like 3 or 4 times, so I'm excited to just see it in person. I mean, that play is genius. The music, the words, I'm just excited to see it with my family and to finally go inside the Tanger Center.
I'm with Ange on The Lion King. That's early March, coming here late February, and that's early birthday present for me. So I'm excited. I love The Lion King. And I will speak to Stacy's point about being in a theater. That raw talent you have so much more appreciation for it because you're able to be in person. You can hear the singing, you can see them doing the dancing or what have you, as well as singing, and you're like, whoa,
Yeah,
it's
you
so
get like
much
full
different.
body chills because of it.
Yeah.
I also like all the costumes and the color and just the lighting and the furniture on stage and how they really just bring this to life, like as you said, to the crowd.
And I think the Dear Evan Hansen cast is really excited about this show specifically because this is their reboot of going back out on tour. They hadn't been on tour in like 600 some days. And so tonight is their first time back on tour. So
that's a big deal.
I think it's going to be a big deal this week. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, well,
enjoy.
let us know how it goes. Take lots of pictures.
Yes. Oh, you're not supposed to take pictures.
Oh
right?
yeah. Well, prior to going inside, beforehand, take pictures.
Yes. Yeah.
We'll be right back. No pictures.
Instagram launched a new tool aimed at protecting teenage users. The Take a Break feature encourages young users to stop scrolling if they've been on the app for a long period of time. Your child may see notifications about the feature. Parent company Facebook, now renamed Meta Platforms, highlighted the tool on platforms after receiving criticism for not doing more to prevent harmful content from reaching users. A whistleblower testified to U.S. lawmakers that Facebook research signaled peer pressure pushed on Instagram led to mental health and body image issues in young users. Lawmakers are now working on restrictions on tech giants, which may include restrictions on legal protections for free speech on social media. Instagram will roll out tools for parents early next year, allowing them to see how much time their teens spend on the app and set time limits. I think it's a good idea that Instagram is trying to do something. I mean, I cannot imagine having a kid that is in social media right now and on it all the time. How do you control it? And I think this is a good way just to give them a little reminder, hey, you've been on there too long. That happens to me on TikTok sometimes, and I'm glad that I have the reminder because I'm like, okay, I've been on here too long.
See, for me, I kind of find those alerts to myself annoying. My watch, my Apple Watch used to say, stand, take a breath. I had to shut the feature off. My car, after I'm driving for too long, it says, take a break. You've been driving for too long. I turn that feature off.
What car you got?
Okay, real fancy.
You got money.
I just want to make my own decisions. You know, I don't want my technology to tell me I've been using it too much, but that's just me.
I think if it's done in the right amount of doses, not like every hour, because then you might just start ignoring the notifications. But I think it's good to just take that pause. I know I personally take breaks from Instagram every now and then, because you really do get sucked into, like, you know, everything that's going on.
Then you're down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, I went to look up makeup, and now I'm learning how to make ice cream.
Or you creep on someone for so long that you're back to their high school photos and they're not in high school anymore.
And then you double tap it, you're like, ooh.
What are you doing on Instagram?
You know, just some investigative journalism. That's it.
And then you accidentally like the picture.
And then you
like,
double tap it, you're like, oh no, hopefully they didn't see that. The old high school crush.
So embarrassing.
But I'm not gonna let you down. I still want to know what money you have in your wallet, because what car do I know that tells me to take a break? I don't know what feature. They don't do that on my car.
You don't want that feature though. It's annoying because it's usually after like 45 minutes.
Oh,
that's. Well, I never even heard of that. That's so interesting.
I thought you had the one that,
That's a
like, if you
pain.
start drifting, like dozing off, then it like
no, I
makes
don't-
you stop.
I don't have that kind of.
That's,
Okay.
I would like that.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Well, anyway.
Oh, we all wish we were like Chad.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna go down a rabbit hole now. Or actually, we're talking about the weather. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Always talking about how cold it is outside, at least for today and tomorrow. Things change up a bit as we go towards the weekend. Take notice how this pattern changes. This warm front, warm meaning warm air, more than likely going to be moving into the area, especially as we go into the weekend. We do have this area of low pressure that moves through. That's Wednesday. But take notice as we get towards the end of the weekend, going towards the weekend, this warm front here is going to be the next big game changer in terms of temperature. So that high pressure moving out, that Canadian high pressure bringing in the cold, dry air. We're going to be saying goodbye to it soon. And then as we go towards the weekend, that warm front lifting, giving us some warmer air and even some rain chances, possibly some storms for the weekend. Before we get to that, though, we're still cold tonight. And then as we go into tomorrow, staying cold, but we're getting a little bit more clouds across the area. There is a small chance for some rain across the Triad. Now, not everyone will see rainfall, and those who do see it, it's not looking like a significant amount. So most of those rain chances are staying to the south and towards the east. So far, northern counties may not see anything at all tonight. You can see this model keeping things all to the south and east. So if you're anywhere north of Greensboro, more than likely not seeing any rain. The actual estimate is likely around a trace to maybe even at most a quarter of an inch. But like I said, not everyone getting to see rainfall. Have yet to show that full 7 day. But I promise before the 4 p.m. hour, I got it for you.
Hurt people tend to hurt people, but why this behavior sometimes is normalized? Today on U Day, Coach Lamont explains why lying to ourselves about our pain may alienate who we love the most.
People who have experienced some type of hurt tend to intentionally or unintentionally hurt others. When imprisoned within our pain, we often find ways to warp others into our pain bubble. This can lead to a false belief that the more we can hurt others, the less pain we feel. The only way to break this cycle is first be honest with yourself. It's the lies we continue to tell ourselves that become our life foundation. Second, take a step back. Look at your actions towards those you love. Is placing your pain on them worth it? We must acknowledge that the people we are hurting are the people we need most, and that alone should be the basis to why we find the healing that is necessary. This is Coach Lamont. Make today your best U Day. I'll see you tomorrow.
Hurt people hurt people. You know, it's so true. When I was younger and I would go home and talk to my mom and be like, this person hurt my feelings, or this person says something mean to me, she'd always say, you know, make sure that you pray for those people because you just never know what people are going through that might be causing them to react and treat you that way.
Yeah, I agree. I think now that I've gotten older and more mature, I've sometimes take a step back and say, okay, is it worth me even reacting to this situation, reacting to this person? Because maybe they're going through something. But now I'm mature. When I was younger, I'm like, Mommy, why are they being mean to me? But now that I'm older, I have much more maturity and I can see things more clearly.
Yeah, my mom always taught me, kill people with kindness, especially those that are not nice to you. Just be nice to them. Like Lauren said, you never know what people are going through. And if you just treat them with a little bit of kindness, it can make their whole day so much better. So I just try to live by that. But I thought it was really interesting when he mentioned, you know, sometimes we hurt people that we're closest to. And I realize that sometimes I do that. I say mean things and I don't even mean to, but I do to my mom and my husband, because those are the people that I am the closest to, and have to step back and say, you know, I'm really sorry that came out the wrong way. But it just happens sometimes.
And I think it's important that you communicate that sorry too, because oftentimes we may think it, but we don't often say it back to someone. And when you do acknowledge, you need to say sorry. You know, so people understand, hey, I recognize I did something wrong. Even at our older ages, we still have to do that. It's really important.
And people disrespect you for it because we're all human. We all make mistakes, but when you can own that, there's just a big respect factor there.
Yeah.
Alrighty, we'll be right back. Come join us on Facebook.
I'm mic checking. 1, 2, 3. Oh, okay. Let me. Okay.
All right. I am talking about how to be compassionate on virtual platform.
Good Tuesday afternoon to you. I am Chad Silver, and I am outnumbered here with Lauren Coleman, Stacy Spivey, and Monique Robinson. I'm in good company here today.
Yeah, it's a fun show.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thank you for watching. You also make it a lot of fun. You're chatting with us on Facebook. You're watching on TV, Fire Stick, Roku, the News 2 app, all the places.
So many places and lots to talk about today. So let's jump into your 4 to 5 roundup. A 1-year-old girl is safe after she was taken by her own mother in Randolph County. Ava Pierce went missing on December 1st when her mother, Roxanne Parson, abducted her during a visit. Parson does not have parental rights to Ava, and Ava's father reported her missing last night. Deputies said they received a tip about a possible location. They were able to pull over the car and found Parson and her daughter in a car seat. Ava was returned to her father, and Parson was arrested and served with a warrant. President Biden warned Vladimir Putin during a video call today that Russia will face economic sanctions if it invades Ukraine. President Biden is searching for a diplomatic solution to handle the tens of thousands of Russian troops near the Ukrainian border. Moscow voiced frustrations over Western military aid to Ukraine and has questioned Ukraine's possible intentions to reclaim territory lost in 2014. Russia denied any intentions to act against Ukraine. Former senator, presidential candidate, and war veteran Bob Dole will lie in state in the U.S. Capitol Rotunda Thursday. This is something reserved for prestigious lawmakers and citizens. Dole spent 30 years serving in both the House and the Senate. In February, he announced he was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. He died on Sunday at home in Washington, D.C. He was 98 years old. Funeral arrangements have not been announced. Hawaii is under a state of emergency as a winter storm brings flash flooding and high winds. Landslides and crashing trees have threatened the state's infrastructure. Weather officials warn that slow-moving thunderstorms could persist through Wednesday.
But those storms aren't stopping the music. Northwest Guilford High School's band is in Hawaii right now to perform for the 80th commemoration concert series at Pearl Harbor. The performance had to be moved indoors from the Pearl Harbor Aviation Museum's Hangar 79 to a nearby hotel.
Yes, it's been severely wet. Most of the time we are changing clothes 2 or 3 times a day and attempting to dry out our shoes with hair dryers or newspaper or something else because they're just soaking wet.
The band director says they've still been having a good time and are looking forward to the rest of the week. They come back on Thursday. And like we mentioned, the band is there for the 80th anniversary of Pearl Harbor. Today, we remember and honor the men and women and their families affected by this tragedy. Survivors, family members, military leaders, and current service members were in Hawaii for the ceremony today. At least 40 survivors were there. The attack in 1941 went on for more than 2 hours. 2,403 Americans were killed. It was the defining moment leading our nation into World War II.
So a few years ago, I was at Pearl Harbor looking at the handwritten speech of President Roosevelt, the day that will live in infamy. I want you to take a look at the rest of the museum, though. It can take really a few hours to walk through it and just really soak it all in. This is how most of us and the generations to come will be taught about Pearl Harbor. I mean, it's one thing, to see the pictures, whether it's from this incident or something else. It's another to hear the voices of the folks who've lived through it.
I just can't imagine being there. I mean, how long did you spend there?
We spent several hours there. Now, you could spend like a whole day there going through it because there's just so much stuff to see.
Right.
And they have audio tapes and things of that nature so that you can really feel like you were there.
Wow.
So this is, the one-on-one with a veteran. It doesn't happen very often. I mean, sometimes you see them out and about, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Lauren, you see them more often than not.
Yep, I come from a military family.
Right, but most of us, maybe we see them at a store here or there, but a one-on-one doesn't happen that often. But the chances of a one-on-one go up in one specific town every Friday at lunchtime. I want you to check this out.
You look like a veteran to me.
That's right.
And he's a veteran.
8-year-old Leo saw a group of veterans eating lunch at Costco, and that started an impromptu history lesson.
This looks like a battleship, it looks like.
Well, we had airplanes on it, though.
I just really like what they did for us. I like it.
The group of veterans started having lunch every Friday at Costco. At first, there were just 4 of them. And now, there's a whole group.
I really enjoy coming over here and seeing all the people and seeing where they all came from.
It's nice to be recognized, but I always tell them it was my honor to have served.
You know what I love about the meeting at this Costco in Tennessee is that they're in public. Those kinds of interactions can happen versus if it was like at an American Legion or something like that.
Right, that little boy, I mean, how great is he? I mean,
sweet.
and I love getting kids interested in our history at an early age because it's something they can, carry on through their lives. I mean, that guy, he's gonna be a veteran someday, I think.
Oh yeah, this just brought back a lot of memories of my dad's dad. I called him Pawpaw. He was an Air Force veteran, and he told us so many stories, and I will cherish those forever.
So many great stories to share, and just to have that support system with other people that had that unique experience serving in the armed forces, that's pretty amazing.
And I know, and it grew from 4 that were just having lunch to that whole entire group, which I love. If there's something that's happening here, we want to know about it because that is just a really cool thing. We'd like to be able to stop by and hang out with you for lunch or whenever you meet. And on this day and every day, we are so very thankful for all those who have served.
Been talking about how cold it is, but also the possibility of some rain in the forecast. Well, here's all you need to know. Little rain across the southeast portion of the Triad late tonight, really early tomorrow morning. By daybreak, the clouds will start to break, giving way to some sunshine, and we'll slowly be warming up day by day through Saturday, where we could see some 70s or feel some 70s when you walk out the door, feeling once again like early October and not like December, and nothing like what it should feel for this time of year. The best shot for rain and even some storms could be on Saturday. So I'm going to draw this map back once again. We kind of what has like a stationary kind of balancing of a warm front down to the south and east, an area of low pressure riding along that front, going to help to pull in some moisture across our area and even much of the eastern portion of North Carolina. Now, the likelihood of us all getting rain is on the slim side of things, but all of us getting some chilly air behind it, well, that's for certain. We're all going to be talking about how cold it still is on Wednesday afternoon and even going into your Thursday. But like I said, we're gradually warming up, so it's really going to be warmer than what we're feeling, but it's still fairly cold. Now, by Friday and Saturday, those temperatures certainly will warm up. You see this gradual warming up by Saturday. 71 degrees. Here's a look at that full 7-day. I showed you and talked about the possibility of rain, but here you see it on the 7-day. Showers and storm possible on Saturday.
We are laying off about 15% of the company.
The CEO of a real estate company recently fired about 900 employees over a Zoom call, and it was effective immediately. Videos of the Zoom call are circling on social media. Maybe you have seen one. Blanca Cobb joins us today to talk about how to have uncomfortable conversations virtually. Blanca, you saw the video. What did you notice in his body language that could have been perceived as insensitive or off-putting?
His body language really conveyed a disconnection. He either didn't understand or he didn't care about the impact. And we see it in the body language because he was so far away from the camera, sitting back in his chair. He had both hands on the table and they almost like they were glued to the table. And when you could see underneath the table at the top of his legs, there wasn't really a lot of movement. It's very difficult to convey warmth and caring to somebody at such a big distance. Think about this. If you were to see somebody get hurt and you're like, hey, you who fell, are you okay? How can they really feel like you care if you're not even going to get closer to them? So non-verbally, by being so far away from the camera, that's what he was communicating.
So what's some advice for handling these difficult or potentially upsetting situations virtually?
Well, when it comes to your body language in the virtual world, you want to be able to show caring. And the example that I was just giving, when somebody gets hurt, when in person, what happens is you'll take a step closer to somebody, right? You will go in. You might want to touch their arm to see if they're okay. So virtually, you can mimic this by physically getting closer to the camera, and then you can actually lean in a little bit because it mimics physical proximity. And that's really important when you're trying to communicate warmth and compassion and empathy.
What should we remember when we know that we're going to be delivering words that some will find upsetting or just bad news in general?
If you're delivering bad news, you have to think about the impact of your words before you even open your mouth. So what he did is he talked about how when he did this the last time he cried and he hoped that this time he would be stronger. Respectfully, who cares? There are 900 people who have to now figure out how they're going to pay the rent and how they're going to feed their family. Instead, there should be words of warmth and compassion and empathy and something like, this must be so hard for you. What are you feeling? You want to check in with them. What can I do for you? And then you're going to show your emotion and your tone of voice and even in the words that you use, because it's going to be more gentle, it's going to be more understanding and not so off-putting and distance.
Some good advice. Thank you, Blanca, and some good insight as well. If you've missed any of this, we will have all of this information. We're also going to post these videos on our Facebook page as well as YouTube. Boy, I mean, 900 employees, that's a big, tough pill to swallow.
And to do it over a video call, I watched the announcement and he was just very kind of monotone. And I think he said something along the lines of, I'm going to try not to cry or something, but it just wasn't, for me watching it, that didn't at all. Kind of seemed like, oh, let's get this over with and cut. Like that's kind of how it came across.
I know we live in a virtual world. I know those 900 employees that he had to fire, but I mean, he or the company, whoever, should have individually done that. I think that it made it worse that it was all of them together at once, all on the Zoom call. Like, I feel like I would hope if somebody was going to fire me, which I hope that never happens, that they would come to me individually and tell me and be empathetic about it.
And just the time of the year it is, it's the holidays, it's around Christmas, and just the past 20 months have been crazy. It just seems like there would have been more respect there. I mean, companies sometimes have to do what they have to do, but this just seemed a little off-putting.
Yeah, and I mean, you saw how it was framed up. I mean, he wasn't really close to the camera, didn't really seem to be too engaged with what he was saying, so.
Or like, we're proud of you guys, or, you know, you've worked so hard. I didn't feel any of that from his message.
No.
I'm curious to see whether this company will, you know, receive any backlash because of the steps that they took and how they took them.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting.
See.
We'll be right back. Imagine you are part of a jazz ensemble and one of the most talented artists in the world pick you to perform in New York. It happened to the UNCG Jazz Ensemble thanks to Wynton Marsalis. Eric Chilton spoke with interim director of the Miles Davis Jazz Studios about the honor.
I'm so grateful. We're very, very excited. The students are working really, really hard right now. And I think that's probably the biggest reason why they were invited, right? Our students work really, really hard in Jazz Ensemble 1, and they take their art very, very passionately, and they work really, really hard at it. And also they're led by Professor Eby, who is known all over the world as a musician and composer and teacher. So they're very, very lucky to have him as well.
Haynes says the students have already started rigorous practices that started the moment they found out he also says there's more to celebrate than just being picked.
Basically what they do is they handpick the top 10 jazz programs in the country to perform. So it's a huge honor for us. And the other thing I've got to shout out is North Carolina Central in Durham also was selected. And so I think we're the only ones in the country to have 2 from one state going up there for the 10 bands. So shout out to North Carolina.
We're the breeding ground for jazz ensembles, apparently.
Who would have thought? Yeah, who would have thought?
Really cool.
It just shows all the hard work that these students are putting into this. And for those that do like jazz music or music in general, these might be some schools that they'd be interested in going to.
Yeah, clearly it's a very talented group of kids, so good for them.
And congrats to UNCG.
Yes.
Way to go. We thought basketball was the big sport, but we've got jazz ensemble too.
Musically
Do it
gifted
all.
and athletic.
Yeah.
Love that.
We'll be right back.
Double threat, triple threat.
Uh-oh. A big part of the Christmas season in my household is watching all my favorite holiday movies. CenturyLink looked at the most popular 90s Christmas movies based on Google searches in each state. North Carolina's is Jingle All the Way, that's starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. Overall, though, Home Alone was the most popular. So I asked you on my Facebook page what your favorite Christmas movie is. Debbie loves Polar Express. Harper's favorite is The Grinch. For Marcus, it's This Christmas. Chris loves Christmas Vacation. Laura says Miracle on 34th Street. It's a classic. Nicole's is Home Alone. Melinda says classic It's a Wonderful Life. Scott likes 1984's A Christmas Carol. Sharon's favorite, White Christmas. And Matthew says A Christmas Story. Love all of those, but like I mentioned on Facebook, Elf is the number one choice.
My
for
favorite
me.
number one too.
I like Home Alone, but Jingle Jangle on Netflix, have y'all seen that one?
No.
That is a good one. Check it out. It's great music. It came out last year, I believe.
Jingle Jangle.
Jingle Jangle.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely need to check out Jingle Jangle. I remember when everyone was talking about that on social media, and I don't know what I was doing when I never watched it, but I think this year I can watch it.
You'll like it.
Hey, Brad, the director, are you able to pull up that map full screen that just showed the country and how the different states voted? Because there's something I want to point out, if he has the ability to do that. There's something very disturbing on this map.
Oh,
really?
No,
Okay.
About your home state?
No, some of the states have a movie that I wouldn't even consider to be a Christmas movie.
Oh no, is it that debate that comes up every year?
Yeah, that's what I'm
But
thinking
it's
it's going
not,
to be.
what is that? What is it? Top
Die,
Gun? No,
Die Hard.
It's not Die
Triad
Hard.
used to always say
It
that
is
one.
even worse than that.
Oh no, there it is.
Okay, here we got it right here.
What is
Look
it?
at Dumb and Dumber.
What?
Are you
Is that
kidding
a comedy
me?
movie?
Dumb and Dumber.
Is Jim Carrey in that?
Four different states.
Four states.
Is Jim Carrey in that movie?
Yes,
I
but like,
mean,
I don't remember that.
is
being
that
a Christmas
based in
movie.
December?
I have no idea.
Was
but that's
it in December?
disturbing.
Maybe there was a Christmas tree in the movie or something. I don't know.
Oh, so I'm sorry. I had to point that
I
out.
didn't even notice
I didn't even
that.
notice that.
You have good eyes. I mean, I obviously can't see
Anyway,
all
and
the way.
Texas, look at them. The Nightmare Before Christmas.
But
I mean,
that's not a Christmas movie. That's a Halloween
it's-
movie, right?
Christmas is in its title, right?
I don't
It's
know.
a
Y'all
Christmas
just need. They should have all picked Elf or Home Alone.
Did Elf even
It
make
was
the
90s.
list?
It was 90s.
Oh, it was the 90s.
Yeah.
That was a thing. Still, Elf
right.
should win always.
Sorry
Forever.
to throw a wrench into that. Monique, let's talk about the weather.
Yeah, I think over the next couple of days, with it being so cold outside, you can probably snuggle up and watch a good movie at least tonight and even tomorrow. I think that's what I might do tonight. Temperatures right now are in the 40s. 47 is the current temperature in Greensboro. That sun is saying goodbye and giving way to some beautiful skies. Want to show that satellite and radar once again. The cloud cover kind of inching its way closer from the south and east, and this area of low pressure in association with it could possibly bring us some rain some parts of the Triad. You can see that rain chance possibly early tomorrow morning, but then things will start to break apart, getting way to some sunshine by the afternoon. But you can see that 39 is a very cold start. Here's once again a look at your 7-day. You can see the temperatures going over the course of your weekend are on the warmer side of things. Now, it has been cold lately, and I say cold because the average temperature for this time of year should be in the 50s. We are in the 40s. So we are on the cold side of things. We're going to be gradually warming up, honestly too warm over the weekend, but next week looks a little bit more right around average.
More than 2,400 service members.
Hey, 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3.
It's crazy though, right? Like Dumb and Dumber.
Callie. Hey, I just called milk and an Oreo cookie.
We have all the space.
Mic check 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10.
time for my 2 cents. I can't stop thinking about Toyota coming to the Triad. The news about the Megasite means more than just jobs and car batteries. With a major company coming to town, it could transform the Triad for the better. It's not just a change for those living near the Megasite, but for people living everywhere from Seagrove to Summerfield. With more people moving in, more homes will be built, roads will be improved, schools will expand, companies will be seeking us out. This puts our region on the map, not just in the U.S., but globally. Think about it. People in Hong Kong are reading about the news about Greensboro and Randolph County. Our state already has so much to offer, from the mountains to the beaches and everything in between. I think this will only improve quality of life. We'll be more competitive with Charlotte and Raleigh. And who knows, maybe businesses like Topgolf will want to make Greensboro home. We already know that the Triad is a great place to live. We chose to live here. But now I think everyone else will be more interested in experiencing the Piedmont paradise. That's just my 2 cents. That's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts right now.
This area needs this kind of development.
We are getting a full 360-degree view of the Greensboro-Randolph Megasite, where Toyota will build a huge plant. Plus,
We put people